So put your hands down if you have one. Now, if you don't have a songbook, raise your hand. All right, let's get some songbooks going over here. Who else needs a songbook? Susan, you need one? All right, does anybody else need a songbook? All right.
Oh, right over here, Will.
Right over here, Peter. All right.
A couple more. I think Chris. Got to get Chris singing for us. Chris and Peter. Andrew, do you have one?
Okay. All right, if we could all stand up and get singing this morning, would you repeat after me? Listen to this for once. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. I know you're scared.
I know you're scared.
And I'm scared too.
And I'm scared too.
But here I stand.
But here I stand.
Right next to you.
Right next to you.
You gotta put one foot in front of the other
and lead with
love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Hey, one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Start moving with us. You gotta put one foot in front of the other.
You can join us. Lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead.
Now listen, lift up your eyes.
Lift up your eyes.
Don't you despair.
Don't you despair.
Look up ahead.
Look up ahead.
The path is there.
The path is there. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope. Don't give up hope.
You're not alone.
You're not alone.
Don't you give up.
Don't you give up.
Keep moving on.
Keep moving on. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other.
One more time. Lead and lead with love.
And lead with love. And lead with love.
Harmonize
and lead with love. And lead with love.
Two more times. And lead with love. One more time.
And lead with love.
Thank you for sharing in the song this morning. These songs all come from the Justice Choir Community Songbook. This songbook was put together about 5 years ago by mostly new composers from around the country that were involved in justice movements in their local communities. So they would write these songs as protest songs, as march songs. Some of these songs come from spirituals and from Freedom Summer and the Civil Rights Movement. They put them all into one booklet. So keep this booklet with you. This is your guide through the worship service today.
All right, and I'm going to invite you to have a seat. Thank you. I don't know, in January, it's kind of hard to clap on the offbeats for me. I don't know about you, but I had a little trouble with that, but I got it going, so that was wonderful. Today, we are going to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr., and especially his I Have a Dream speech and what that means for us today in our world. So great to have you with us to join during that. We've got all sorts of allusions to the civil rights movement, so hey, we hope you can join in that cause as we continue to be the people that God called us to be. So welcome. Good to have you in church. You might have a welcome card in your bulletin. We would love to have you take some time at some point to fill that out. There's prayer concerns, and there are needs that we often, if you have a need, any need you have, we would like to try to meet that. A need recently that was brought to my attention, Chris Aker brought it to me, is his brother was injured on the job. He's an electrician and has not been able to work for 6 months, I think. Got 4 children, right? Still with him, all 4. Trying to support them, and just received news that not going to get support from workers' comp yet, anyway. So that's discouraging. And he's asking us if we can help. So if you would like to help with Chris's brothers, all you have to do is give a check or go online and give money to our Helping Hands Fund. Any money we get from now for the next month will go to Chris's brother. So let's be supportive. We are putting one foot in front of the other and supporting each other, right? So thank you, Chris, for bringing that up. All right, well, let's continue on with I Have a Dream speech. Let's go for it.
Would you rise as we sing, lift every voice, and sing?
Please stand. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listing skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Stony road we trod, bitter the chasing rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat, have not your weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out from the gloomy past till we ascend at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, Keep us forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we meet thee. Lest our hearts drunk with the wine of the world we forget thee. Shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land. Please be seated, and let's listen to King's speech a little bit.
50 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still languished in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land. So we've come here today to dramatize a shameful condition. In a sense, we've come to our nation's capital to cash a check.
Let us say together, it is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the African American people a bad check which has come back marked with insufficient funds. But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of opportunity of this nation.
scripture today is Amos 5, verses 14 through 15. Seek good and not evil, that you may live, and so the Lord, the God of hosts, will be with you. Just as you have said, hate evil and love good, and establish justice in the gate. Let justice roll down like water, and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream.
Let's sing the second verse.
When I lift my voice, let it be for good. Let me care as much as I know I should. I will stand alone, we'll stand side by side, 'cause we know that love is always justified. When they try to divide us, they will only unite us. I lift my voice. When I lift my voice, let it be for good. Let me care as much as I know I should. I won't stand alone, we'll stand side by side, 'cause we know that love is always justified. When they try to divide us, it will only unite us. I lift my voice.
Please read with me Psalm 96. Oh, sing to the Lord a new song. Sing to the Lord, all the earth.
Sing
Sing to the Lord, bless his name. Tell of his goodness from day to day. Declare his glory among the nations, his marvelous works among all the peoples. Honor and majesty are before him. Strength and beauty are his sanctuary. Worship the Lord in holy splendor. Tremble before him, all the earth. Say among the nations, the Lord is king. The world is firmly established. It shall never be moved. He will judge the peoples with equity. Let the heavens be glad and let the earth rejoice. Let the sea roar and all that fills it. Let the field exult and everything in it. Then shall all the trees of the forest sing for joy before the Lord, for he is coming. For he is coming to judge the earth. He will judge the world with righteousness and the people with his truth.
Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children. We must forever conduct our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creative protests to degenerate into physical violence. Again and again, we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. The marvelous new militancy which has engulfed the Negro community must not lead us to a distrust of all white people. For many of our white brothers, as evidenced by their presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny is tied up with our destiny.
Would you rise as we say this together? And we have come to realize that their freedom is inextricably bound to our freedom. We cannot walk alone. And as we walk, we must make the pledge that we shall always march ahead. We cannot turn back. Would you turn to We Walk in Love in your songbook as we sing together?
walk in love, united in
purpose. We join our hands and lift up one voice. We speak the truth with strength and compassion, resounding with hope, with courage and joy. We cry for peace and rights for all people. We welcome friends from far and near. We fight for those whose voices are silenced, resisting in faith until all are justice and kindness. March with joy as all walk together, embracing each one. We stand. You may be
All the
seated.
people said. Please be seated. We'll invite the children who've been so patient here to come forward. Yeah, we'll do that. And I need a couple guys to help me. I need some chairs up here. Some guys and girls who will help me bring them up here. I need about 10 chairs. Maybe 6. Put one there, and one here, and then one here, Scott. And one here. We're good. That's enough, but that's good. That's good. This over here. Let's move that back there. All right. I know some of you have been to Vacation Bible School, and do you remember playing Booska? Yes. All right. Well, we're going to play. Come on, everybody, get up here in these seats. Oh, I think I only. What was that?
Make sure no one goes off stage because they'll trip
Oh, there.
on the stairs.
Okay. Thank you for being concerned. All right. Okay, I've got a couple more chairs I'm bringing. Hold it. Watch out. Oh, no, you got to get off, Sammy. Yeah. I could be a chair, yes. Okay, so when we Booska, you remember one person's it, so somebody has to sit down here. You want to sit? Go ahead. I can move this out of the way. Go have a donut. No. So, when we play Booska, right? Liam, you're going to be it, and you're going to chase your sister Hannah, right? So, Booska means bus, so watch out. There's a step there, but let's just try it. Hannah, take off. Liam, chase. Go for it. Be careful. A gentle chase, yes. And then what do, Hannah? You got to say it. Booska, move Lily. All right, Liam, chase Lillian. All right. This could get long. Lillian, there you go. Go ahead, Booska. Get over there, Mason. Very good. Freeze. Freeze. Now, Mason, you get to chase Liam. Liam, run. Run. Oh, chase him. Chase him back. All right, freeze just for a minute. What would happen if I decided that I would just take 2 chairs away, if you two could get up? Could you get up? And since we don't have enough chairs now, Sammy and Mason, could you just go sit down over here? Just right over here. And you can't play. Too bad. So that's... What do you mean it's not fair? I don't have enough chairs. No, you're just out. How does that feel, Sammy? How does that feel? It doesn't feel very good, right? So, yeah, well, you could go get candy, that's true. But it's not fun to be left out, right? Well, so there was a bus in the United States at one point where everybody who had black skin could only sit in the back of the bus. Would you think that was fair? No, it wasn't fair. How would you feel if you were stuck back there all the time? Sad, would you think? I thought I heard Sammy be a little sad, but I thought she was maybe a little mad too. And that's okay, because it's unfair. And we get mad when things are unfair. So there was a woman named Rosa Parks, and she had black skin, and she got stuck in the back of the bus. And then one day, she was really tired. She just wasn't tired. She was tired of it, of being stuck in the back. Guess what she did? She sat up front. And she got in big trouble. But she started a whole movement where that never happened again after a while because of what she did. We've got to be like that, right? So it's not only when it happens to us, it's when it happens to somebody else. So when Sammy got mad, maybe all of you should have got mad too. Huh? Yeah, exactly. Right like that. There you go. That's the part we But that's what it's all about. So today we're talking about that. How can we make our world fairer so when we play games like Booska, everybody gets to play and it's fair for everybody? Okay? We'll play Booska after church a little bit, but right now, come sit down over here and we'll have a prayer, okay? Candy, yes, candy. Only candy for boys today. That's not fair. What? Yes, you can. You can grab it right now, Sammy. It's right back there. She'll get it for us. Not yet. We're going to pray first. But you can grab that, Sammy. Yes, you can grab it. Go ahead. I am joking. Sometimes I joke. Believe it or not. Yes. All right. Can we put our hands together and we'll pray for everybody in this world? Okay. Can you pray after me? Dear God, we love to play Booska. It's a lot of fun. Everybody gets to join in. That's a great game. But there are some parts of our world that aren't so great, where people are left out, sometimes because of their skin color. We don't like that. You give us anger in our hearts so that we will listen to it and act. Amen. Hey, all right. Sammy, go ahead and pass out that, and that will be great. But as we do, we have a couple of other things. So I know we have a couple kids that are going to help me out with part 2 of this. So I think it's... And we want Brooke Self, if she could come up here. Who else? Karen Robinson, come forward, and Cassie Rooney, who's not here with us. But if they would come forward. And these are folks who have served on our administrative board, on our coordinating board for a 3-year term for about 5 years, or give or take. And so they are now being, we have new people taking their position, but we want to thank them for what they've done. So let's give them a hand. And you can go ahead and give them flowers, you guys. Go ahead, give Karen flowers. All right. And the person who is replacing Brooke South on the Staff Parish Relations as chair is Sue Burkholder. She's here. Wave to Sue. Word of encouragement. And the person replacing Karen Robinson in God's hands is Karen Smith right over here. So let's give her a hand. And the person replacing Cassie on trustees is Randy Garrett, who will be our new trustee chair. So let's give them a hand. All right, thank you very much. Thank you. And children, you can head now. You get a chance to go back if they want. Is that okay? Or you can stay. I love your pom-poms there. That's cool. Yeah, so you can follow, what's her name over there? Danielle. By the way, I have to tell you a story about my granddaughter, Emerson. Emerson isn't feeling very well, but she came over yesterday, and Cindy had this brand new workbook. You know those workbooks, that you can do all sorts of things, dots and stuff. And Emerson asked her, well, what's that? And Cindy said, well, it's a workbook. And she said, well, I don't work. Yeah, she's still not working. Anyway, it's interesting. Anyway, don't you love, anyway I do, Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream speech? I hope you get a chance maybe this afternoon to listen to it all and read it all and contemplate it. When I was a kid, 10, 11, 12 years old, I read every book I could about Martin Luther King. I mean, I was just into him. His speeches, I Have a Dream speech, combined with his willingness to walk and live those speeches, just blew me away and captured my heart. When our fourth grade class had an oral interp contest, 1970, by the way, I was the shyest kid alive. But put Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech in my hand and in my heart, and I was like transformed into this prophet, man. His words to me just blew me away. And when my teacher heard all that confidence in me, she thought, who is this kid? Who is this? I think what spoke to me more than even King's words was going back and reading some of his books about him, and learning stories about people like Rosa Parks, people who knew MLK's words so well that they were willing to sit in front of the bus, just risk their lives because of him. People who knew Dr. King's speech so well that they let his dream be planted in their own gardens and parks and souls. People who had decided to take that dream. I kind of look at it as kind of like a kite, right? And tie, a string onto that kite and tie it on the ground right where they were working and living. People who, when they got tired, didn't give up, but rose up, right? Even every king's dream, every dream in this world needs a Rosa Parks, right? Every king's dream needs 1,000,000 Rosa Parks who are willing to stand and sit and live that dream in the buses they're riding, in the garbage they're hauling, in the counters they refuse to be served, in the classes they're teaching, in the teams they're coaching, and even in the churches that they're singing hymns in. And it's not just the stories that inspire me. It's those actions that keep me going. It's their willingness to live those dreams out in their plain, ordinary lives that inspires me to get out of my own book and dream and start living justice where I am, into my church, into my school, into a coffee shop in Woodinville. Cassie, my daughter, went to college at Nebraska University. Any Cornhuskers out there? Not too many around here. Yeah, she's a Cornhusker and proud of it. And one of the stories that connected me to that football program, because I must be honest, I wasn't really a Cornhusker nut before, was a story I read about the Nebraska football team in the 1940s. They went to play Colorado in a football game, and they had a couple of black players, and they went to a restaurant in downtown Colorado, and that restaurant refused to serve the two black players in that restaurant. They told them they could eat in the kitchen with the staff, but they were not to be served in public. And the whole restaurant just seemed to freeze, those moments in the movies, right? And you could just feel everybody turning their heads to this Nebraska coach, white guy, wondering what in the world he'd do. And the coach stood up, took out his whistle, blew it as loud as he could. He said, "Follow me, men. We're a team. If one of us can't be served, none will be served." And they walked out as a team. When one of my church members in Geddes, South Dakota, population 303, went to a college basketball game at my alma mater, Dakota Wesleyan, she noticed that the team, Dakota Wesleyan, my alma mater, was playing, the team they were playing had a black player on the team. And she paid notice and noticed how good this kid was. He was giving Dakota Wesleyan players fits. And right in the front of my friends was the father of one of the Dakota Wesleyan players, and he was furious. All of his energy began to be focused on this one black player from the other team. And by halftime, he was shouting out words no one should ever speak. The N-word was just every other word, along with some four-letter words, 10, 15 times. And all the time, my friend Joan, an elementary teacher, kept thinking of her second-grade students that she was teaching in school, and of the unit they had just finished about Martin Luther King Jr. and about his "I Have a Dream" speech. And at halftime, my friend Joan, maybe 5 foot tall, tapped that 6'6" big old guy, that father, on his shoulder and said, "I'd like a word with you." And all heads turned, and little Joan Delish rose up nearly 7 feet tall and let that father have it. And let that father have it. It's not easy to rise up, is it? Like so many in our in that gymnasium, it's easier just to sit and endure it and then go talk about it later. That's probably what I might have done. Let it fall off of our shoulder. It's not us after all. After all, we aren't the ones being made low. We don't have to act, right? We can just let it go in one ear and out the other. It doesn't really affect us, so to speak. But sometimes we choose to sit in front of the bus with those who are being put down, shaken up, and destroyed. And it's those times, my friends, that lift my spirits, and I bet it lifts you too, and calls me be a better human being, a more godly human being. Jason Dobney, who's a friend of Cindy and I's, and he's now the curator of the Music Museum at the Met in New York, and he called me one night, angry, frustrated. He witnessed some of the racism that was happening on the streets of New York and some of the racism that's been happening all over our cities, all over the world. And he had personally witnessed a couple policemen shouting racial slurs at some black people in the subway there. And he said to me that he was looking out his window just now as many of them, these black folks, were marching down the streets in protest of a recent police brutality act against black people. And he shared just how hopeless he felt. He felt like as a white guy from South Dakota. He was just like a pawn in a larger battle. What could he, a white guy from South Dakota, do? And just then, I don't know, as we were talking, something clicked. And he just said, "Gotta go. I think I know what I'm going to do." And later, he told me that he was witnessing this parade as hecklers were forming on both sides of the street, shouting racial slurs, throwing cans and bottles. And Jason and hundreds of other white folks decided to form a line on both sides of that protest, buffer zone, protecting the protesters from verbal abuse and bottles and cans. Jason called me the next day, FaceTimed me with a big old black spot right here on his head, and he was so proud of it. He said, look what happened to me. I prevented somebody from getting hit. This morning, I want to celebrate Dr. King's speech and life, but I'm hoping I can convince each of you to take up the kite screen of that speech. And don't plant it next to you. Plant it in your heart, where you're living right now. I'm asking you to take not only marvel at the oratory gem that this is, but to take this dream and speech and plant it in your children's life, in your church's life, and your morning coffee group, and maybe especially in the locker room that you go. Cindy, my wife, is now a manager of computer engineers. Yeah, I pray for her a lot because I know a lot of computer engineers. Anyway, she got about 20 people now that she manages, and all of them, as you might guess, are men. And they're good guys. And recently she had an incident where the men were in a Zoom chat with her, and they were lamenting about women's rights, saying that it seemed to them that the equal rights only went one way. And Cindy, tried to stop them, but they just kept going. And finally she said, "This has got to stop." And they turned the Zoom meeting off. And that night she shared her frustrations with me. She shared that one guy had emailed her later and apologized for his part in the conversation and apologized for everybody else. But he said, "I just wish there was some place we men could go where it would be safe enough for us just to tell things like they are." And Cindy shared that she was so tired, got so tired of defending her own gender all the time, all by herself especially. She just had somebody, one of those guys would stand up with her. Say something in that meeting instead of just let it keep going and going. Why, she said, does it always have to be us versus them, men versus women? Women's rights are good for all of us, she said. And then she said, "I shudder to think what these guys are saying in their locker room situations when I'm not there." All of us are in situations every day where we have a chance to stand up for people of color, with women, with LGBTQ plus folks, when they're present and when they aren't present. And believe me, take it from me, as one who tries and often fails to stand by Cindy in these crucial moments, your willingness to stand by others when they are present and when they aren't makes a huge difference in this world. But it's not easy, is it? How do we do it? How can we intentionally get out of our own sandboxes, so to speak, and learn to become better and a part of the global sandbox, a racially diverse sandbox, a sandbox dedicated not only to love, but equality and justice? Will, I'm going to have you come on up here, and I'd like to just share. Will just as his young age of 22. He just doesn't seem like a 22-year-old sometimes when I talk to him. Not that there aren't great 22-year-olds, but you are a great one. Will has developed a relationship with an African-American, a black mentor of his, and I want him just to share about how did you get into that, and what are some of the struggles with that, and just whatever you want to say.
So it's an honor to get to share about this very special relationship in my life. It is a kind of relationship where your life kind of gets twisted inside out and turned upside down and flipped over, and when you come out the other side, you don't even recognize the world you're in. That kind of life-changing relationship. Tesfa came to St. Olaf when I and Vivica and I were both first years at the school. He is a world-renowned choral conductor and opera singer, the musician of the highest level that I've ever met in my entire life. But in the middle of our time together at St. Olaf, I think all of you remember when George Floyd was killed in Minneapolis, 45 miles away or less. It was something that we felt in our bones. You could feel the aftershocks as they came. And Tesfa, who was at the top of his career conducting some great choirs, and living out his dream of being a conductor, decided that wasn't all it for him. And so he worked with an incredible group of people to form a consortium that allowed him to walk away from the life of top choral musician and go on a 60-day journey around the country, going from city to city, not to concert hall to concert hall to concert hall, but to food pantry, to back alley bar or place where no one would ever necessarily want to go on a tour, but to go to the place where he could connect with communities of people that he had come to be distanced from. Tesfa took this journey to learn the story of his own people that he didn't even know in some ways. His friend from Memphis, where he grew up, called him after George Floyd was killed and said, "While you're at St. Olaf tuning chords, we're on the streets fighting for justice, fighting for survival." And Tesfa was humbled. He went on this journey. He left the music behind to meet his own kin, to meet the stories, to see the rage and the struggle and the injustice that you don't see on a white liberal arts college campus in Minnesota. And when he came back, he was forever changed. I will never forget the early conversations we had. He drew me into his experience. I couldn't even begin to exemplify all of the encounters he had with the most incredible people you could even imagine, who have been through the worst struggles you could possibly imagine as our society has structured for certain people in this country. He was shaken to his core. He couldn't be the same person again. And last year, I had the honor of getting to journey with him through the next part of this journey, the storytelling part of this journey, taking all the encounters and the moments and the struggles of this 60-day journey around the country and sharing it with audiences that probably had also never experienced some of these stories. The first time we had a storytelling festival together, about 10 minutes before, we had not talked about a thing. He walks in and he said, "I'm thinking about this piece," and he hands me this choral piece called "The Piece of Wild Things," the Wendell Berry poem. He said, "I don't know, we might do it." And then we go on. That's it. No plan, nothing whatsoever. And I love improvising, so okay, whatever, I trust you. I'm here with you. I got you. You got me. So he starts to tell these stories. He starts to talk about being in Cincinnati and being led to the National Freedom Center, which is right on the Ohio River. And if you remember from your history class, a man named John Rankin, who would keep his lantern lit in the top floor of his house, so that across in Kentucky, which was a slave state, if the lantern was on, it would mean there was safe passage across the river. Someone would be there from the Underground Railroad to get you, to carry you, to take you to the next station away from the slave catchers. When Tesfa talked about going to the Ohio River, he talked about actually wading into the water and feeling the current beneath him, feeling the strong tug of one of our nation's major rivers. And then all of a sudden, just like a bubbling stream from underneath him, wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. Someone's gonna trouble the water. Just like that. And I was right there underneath on the piano. I knew just as he got there. He talked about being in Alabama on the shores of the Gulf of Mexico, where there was a great massacre that happened near Pensacola, Florida, I think, right on the panhandle. And he talked about there's this sign, this tiny little sign at a roadside stand that talks about this community of Gullah people in Alabama who had to run for their lives because this village of white people nearby came with pitchforks and spears, came to kill them all. And they had to cross this really deep channel of water to get across to the other side. And in the deep water, some people lost their lives because they drowned as they were being chased by people with pitchforks and spears and torches trying to kill them. There was blood in the water. But somehow, most people made it to the other side. And so he started talking about how it was actually the deep water that allowed them to get across. What does that remind you of? Deep river, my heart is over Jordan. He would sing this song, and I would be underneath at the piano. No plan, no script. It just happened. I had no idea what was going on. This kept happening over and over and over. Talking about walking the streets of Chicago and feeling alone until he found brotherhood in someone who just narrowly escaped a drive-by shooting, who helped guide him through the streets of the south side of Chicago. I want Jesus to walk with me. He found these spirituals, these songs that people, ancestors of his that had survived, carried with them. And so the wisest person who was at this storytelling festival with us pulled me aside afterward, and she said, the wisest thing you could have done was to fall into total submission. And I was taken aback. What does that mean? What do you mean? I was kind of in submission. She said, you had no idea what was going to happen other than that you trusted him, and he trusted you. And that was what allowed the songs from the ages past to rise. It's all about trust. I share this story with you, not because I think of it as myself as any special person for this relationship. I feel lucky I feel changed by this relationship. But the wisdom of it is that all it takes to create change in this world is to trust your neighbor. All it takes is to trust the dream that Martin Luther King had to share with us. Let's listen to that right now.
So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream. One day, this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream. My 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted. Every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is a faith that I go back to the South with.
And with one voice, let us say,
With this faith, we will be able to hew out of a mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling chords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood and sisterhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. And in your packet, I have, I think it's the back page there, several ideas of how you might be able to plant in the garden. Plant some of this and take that string and plant it in your life. One of them we are going to be doing today at 4 o'clock. We're doing Brews with Brooke, and we're going to go to a black-owned brewery at 4 o'clock. That is here in Woodinville. And so I want to invite you to come to that, and we'll support that business, and we'll have a brew on me. And if you get there the first 15 minutes, that drink's on me, so, or on Cindy, maybe. Anyway, but this is what we're about, trying to do some of this stuff, so hope you can do it. And as we come to communion this morning, I don't want this, certainly, it's always communion, a gift of grace, but I want you to see it today in a different way. I want you to see it as a commitment, as a challenge. I want you to come up and commit yourself to being a better Christian, to be a more faithful follower of Jesus, especially on that justice side and that racial justice. So come forth with that type of commitment in your heart, if you can. And so we take this bread and we break it. And today I break it as a symbol, maybe, of the brokenness of our world, especially racially, the brokenness of what we live in every day. And can we be part of the second part, which is as I pour this cup, of the healing side? Can we be a part of the healing love and mercy of Jesus Christ and pour graciously our lives out for others so they may have a chance too? And so this is the body and blood of Christ. May you come and participate in it fully, and even more fully than you ever have. And all the people said. Right, those who are helping, if you would come forward. You're back.
Come. Come commit.
I invite you to turn to the last song in your packet. It says, "We're Free." Take a look at the second verse, bottom system, and it says, it should say the words, "Up for our brothers." We're going to change that to siblings today. It'll say that on the screen too. "Up for our siblings, we are stronger together, we're free." Would you stand up as we sing our closing song together?
We belong with each other, and together we're free. If we're all stand together, we're free. Sharing on with each other, with our sisters and brothers. If we all stand together, we're free. We belong with each other, and together we're free. Standing strong with each other, we're free. Lifting up one another, standing up for our siblings. We are stronger together, we're free. We take care of each other, and together we're free. Taking care of each other, we're free. Looking out for each other, helping out one another. Taking care of each other, we're free. We believe in each other, and together we're free. Having faith in each other, we're free. Children, fathers, and mothers, having faith in each other. We believe in each other, we're free.
I'm going to have you sit down for just a second. We have a special little announcement here our kids are going to help us do. That's why the pom-poms are here. Come on up, kids, if you can. Let me get a microphone for Karen's. Is that on? Check and see if it's on, Karen. Yeah. Just the button. Karen? Here you go. Can you stand up front there?
That
Sit down on the steps for us. Yeah, fantastic. All right, you all are going to be our cheerleaders for today. They're all ready, too. So, welcome. Karen and I are kicking off our Super Bowl of Caring annual food drive. We do this every year at this time. It's going to run from now until Super Bowl. And we're eager, aren't we? We're eager to get that food in those boxes that you see back in the back, right? All right, we have two teams this year. And as you might have noticed, we have a West team and an East team. So if you're in the West, you go to Target, you go to Malbecs, you hang out at the Malbecs there with their coffee and watch the kids run around the store. You go to Target, or you dodge cars on the 405 freeway. You are on the West side, all right? So who's on the West side? Stand up. West of Avondale, all right? Avondale is north and south. Yeah, West side. Woo, woo. Yeah, love it. Yes. West side rules.
And on the other side, we have Avondale East. So all of those of us who live to the east of Avondale, yeah. So if you're on the east, you're used to sidestepping cattle and horse farms, cruising down back roads to get to Costco, fill up your cart at Costco. And both teams will spend the next 3 weeks collecting non-perishable food items, diapers, and monetary donations.
Diapers?
No, clean ones, please.
Not used ones, yeah.
And we're going to give these to some area food banks to help out our community.
You know what's really cool, Karen?
What's that, Karen?
Well, the Super Bowl of Caring has generated over, get this, 170 million pounds and dollars worth of food since 1990. They've been in this for a long time, right?
That's amazing. We're really excited to be a part of this.
Yeah, me too. I'm super excited. So make sure you bring your food items and diapers. Put them in the boxes in the back. You'll see your team. In fact, we want you to sign the box. So I've got a couple pins back there. If you are on the West, sign the West box. If you are on the East, sign the East box, all right? Be a part of the team, all right? If you have any questions at all, just ask a Karen. We can help you address those questions, all right?
And so now we have a cheer that the kids are going to help us with, right?
All right.
Can you guys stand up and help us with our cheer?
Yes.
Okay. Ready?
It's easy.
Grab your thing.
Grab your chairs.
Yep.
Come on, Mason, stand
Come
up.
on,
Come on,
stand.
bud.
Come on, buddy, you can do it.
All right.
All right.
Let's go east.
Let's go west. Super Bowl of Caring is the best.
Let's go east. Let's go west. Super Bowl of Caring, we're the best. Let's go east.
Let's go west.
Super Bowl of Caring
is the best. Thank you, y'all.
We are taking this serious. The gathering place is divided east-west, so just make sure you're in the right spot. So please join us for fellowship afterwards. We do have some things we're trying to set up for Mona's memorial service. So if you could help with that, we have to get 3 round tables up here and some chairs, some folding chairs. So if you'd be willing to help with that, we'd appreciate it. Thank you for coming to worship. All right, awesome. Let's give Will a hand. Avondale Central.